Welcome back to the Iron Maiden discography. I'm Danny here of Metal Couch, and this time we're going to be looking at the second Iron Maiden album and the final Iron Maiden album to feature Paul Di'Anno, and that is Iron Maiden's Killers. Killers is a completely different beast compared to their self-titled album, in my opinion. Opening up with the instrumental The Ides of March and leading into Wrathchild, you immediately see that this band has grown between the release of the first album and Killers. However, I can't help but shake this feeling that this album was lacking. It was lacking I can't quite put my finger on it. Sonically, it's a vast improvement over the first album. I really didn't like the first album sonically. But lyrically, it was very good. On Killers, it seems that they have done the inverse. Killers is a great sounding album. The guitar work is amazing, and the sound of it is great. But I feel that overall, this album is just... It's one of the reasons why I don't like the Di'Anno albums too much. It's just... It's not Iron Maiden. It's a punk band. It's a punk band that tried to do metal. And eventually they do get into that high metal status, and I think that that's good for them, because we wouldn't have the Iron Maiden day without that. But with tracks like Wrathchild, Killers, Genghis Khan, I can see that there are some highlight tracks off of this album, but Killers to me has never been a strong album. It's probably my least out of the early Iron Maiden albums, I should say. Once we get into the 90s, that's an entirely different story with Blaze Bayley. But out of the non-Blaze Bayley albums, this is probably the one album I least enjoy. There are a few tracks which are mainstays in their live set today, like Wrathchild, and I think every once in a while they may play Killers. But overall, I can't see this album being a mainstay in my collection and being in constant rotation. I've never really enjoyed Killers too much. But it definitely shows that Di'Anno was not working for them. I think that's the reason why this album is lacking, at least to me, is because Di'Anno was great at first, but they needed something bigger. They needed something that was going to propel them into the main spotlight. And I think that their wish was granted with the next album, The Number of the Beast. So if I had to give Killers a grade, I would probably give it a 4 out of 10. Sonically, I love it. Lyrically, I can't stand it. I just think that there's nothing really memorable about this album, save for Wrathchild and Killers. I mean, well, there is something memorable about the Ides of March. I remember seeing a PSA YouTube video about crack cocaine that apparently when you smoke crack, you hear the Ides of March. It's pretty funny. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description. But overall, I can't see this album being in constant rotation. To me, it's just not one of those albums that I thoroughly enjoy. So, next time, we're going to be dealing with something a little bit different. Something a little bit more high-pitched and screaming and a lot more wild. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing off.